What up, though? Welcome back to Maroon Cloth. I'm your host, Alan Dorleen. All that's been on my mind lately is the movie Tenet. That movie is so dope, man. If you haven't seen it, you need to go see that ASAP. Movie is crazy. It's Christopher Nolan's best movie. I don't care. It's better than it's better than Interstellar. It's better than Inception. It's definitely better than Dunkirk. I saw Dunkirk bootleg last week. That movie was trash. I don't even get it. And then when you look on Google, because I like to go on Google just to see who agrees with me when I think something's trash. And it's like, oh, everybody's like, oh, nah, this movie's not trash, blah blah blah. It's like if the movie wasn't trash, you would just say, okay, this movie is awesome because such and such and such. But the prevailing thought out there is this movie isn't trash. It's a defensive stance, basically. So that tells me that yeah, they realize the movie is trash. But anyway, that's besides the point. Tenet is crazy, man. Tenet is like it's about the reversal of entropy. So it's about playing with physics and time travel and things like that. And these are things that I've contemplated for the longest time, like for my whole life. So it's like to see somebody playing with all that, the way that Nolan pulls it off, and the main character sold the movie for me. I look online and it's like, okay, this movie has 74% on I don't know if it's Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, but I'm just like, I that is just a crime. This movie, just as a welcome back to theaters, especially as a welcome back to theaters, this movie deserves at least a 90%, I think, in my opinion. I think that it got a 70% because it's not DiCaprio. It's it's a black character, so I think that had a lot to do with it. Because that the movie is amazing, and for me, the black character made it even more so. The black main character made it even more so. You know what I mean? This comes in the wake of Chadwick Boseman's passing, so now we have Denzel Washington's son, and Denzel Washington played a pivotal role in Chadwick Boseman's life and career also. So, this is kind of synchronistic if you ask me. But you have Denzel Washington's son, who I think is very similar in terms of the roles that he accepts to Chadwick Boseman. He also is someone who seems to take dignified roles because I know he played in Black Klansman as that pro-black person. I've seen him I've seen him on Ballers. He wasn't necessarily doing anything groundbreaking there. Is more like he was a a, a football player, but it's not like he was selling drugs or fatherless or something like that. So I give him props for that one too. So it just seems like he's on the right path to being a phenomenal black actor. And I'm gonna keep my eye on him, man, because it's crazy. We need that. We need that. We need more roles like this, because in this movie he was more incidentally black. It wasn't like, oh, I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. Like, you know what I mean? It was just, all right. Here's the main character. He's getting things done. He's competent, and he's strong, black, and masculine. We need a lot more of that, man. I don't care. But Tenet, I get that movie. I get that movie a good 10 out of 10. Like I'm obsessed with that movie. Like I've been over that movie in my head over and over and over, and I'm just thinking about the tenets of Tenet, like how they can be applied to the perception of reality or to everyday life, basically. Because Tenet is a movie about the protagonist's name in that movie is the protagonist. That's all he's referred to as. So Tenet is a movie ultimately, especially from the viewpoint of a black male such as myself, it's a movie about being the protagonist in your own mission. It's about setting the pieces together with foresight and hindsight. Like, literally, So the reversal of entropy thing was a plot device. It was simply a plot device. We don't experience the strange sensations of reversed temporal or thermodynamic phenomena as it was in that film, but we experience our own daily phenomena and fight our own battles daily. You know what I mean? So it applies regardless of, okay, we don't have a turnstile, which is the machine that reverses things through time. But we do have the benefit of foresight and the benefit of hindsight. We should be learning as we go along. We should be adapting and not doing the same old thing over and over. But I think there's an Ann Peebles song about that. So a wonderful song. I love Ann Peebles, but let's get back on track. We strive to disable our own bombs in our lives. So in order to be successful at that, we have to be strategic in terms of the teams that we set up for ourselves. So we have to be strategic in placing people and tools and positions to assist us with overcoming challenges and moving towards the next level in accomplishing the goals that we've set. And in order to do that, we need to be on our own side at the end of the day. And this has to show through the people who we choose to be in our lives to give us assistance. We have to be good judges of other people's characters and their character traits. And we have to also be able to trust people to be themselves. It has to be evident in the decisions that we make and whether they serve to benefit us or to hinder us. We have to make decisions that are for our benefit. We must not make decisions that impede our progress and stop us from saving our worlds. You feel me? We must also see our actions through. Don't leave anything to chance or live vicariously. You know what I'm saying? We can be our own protagonists. We can change our lives for the better and save our futures. We must be heroic in taking action and seizing opportunities. Also, we need to, I feel like we need to take a cue that some things might seem conspiratorial, as if the significant events in our lives are controlled by others. We need to learn how to recognize the power of self, not just in the conscious decisions we make, but also in the unconscious phenomena that occur in the environment. Because we have to consider consciousness. And the way I would define consciousness, to boil it down, consciousness is a spectrum of perception, what we perceive, at play with conception, what we conceive. So just in the way that we breathe voluntarily and involuntarily, we do both. But you know what I mean? You could say, okay, I'm breathing. I don't know if I was too far away from the mic, but you could say I'm breathing, you know what I mean? But or it just happens. But ultimately, it's all the doing of the greater cardiorespiratory system, which, like all bodily systems, is dependent on the central nervous system, namely the brain and the medulla oblongata. But whether we think to breathe or we don't, it is a constant. Simple breathing in and of itself is a through line of conscious intention and unconscious circumstance. Because whether you think to breathe or whether it happens involuntarily, the result is the same. You're breathing. So lived experience can be perceived in the same way. Instead of looking at world events and surrendering their significance to an external body such as government or social construct, we should analyze these events more closely and ask ourselves, how are we affecting the environment that we perceive? Some effects are ephemeral and others are perennial, but the constant is consciousness. Our output can be conspicuous or inconspicuous. It can be as simple as breathing or existing or observing or anticipating. Um, we need to refer to ourselves and not make such a habit of giving outside entities all of our energy and determining the significance of the things that are happening to us in our personal lived experiences. We need to intimately familiarize ourselves with shadow psychology and the powers of manifestation and biotechnological manipulation. Our bodies, like I said last week, are very advanced. Self, 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 being cognizant. I repeated it 3 times. Being cognizant of potential. I repeated it twice technically. I'm sorry. But being cognizant of potential and power is in itself a tremendous force of nature, like not unlike the wind or the water or fire and air. Air, fire, water, earth itself. Consciousness is a part of that, is it not? Spirit, you got to tap into that. You know what I mean? Our consciousness is what separates us from every other species. If you think about it, it's because of our tier of consciousness that we as a species are capable of reversing entropy. We've done it. The food chain, man, is supposed to be insurmountable. It's supposed to be worse than an Indian caste system. Lions eat eat gazelles. Gazelles eat grass, and there's no reversing that. But we reversed the entropy of the food chain. And also, we're able to create atomic weapons on this planet. They exist. They exist in large numbers. So we need to tap into this reality that we're not simply lumps of clay that were plastered onto this planet. Like we're here for our 20 our 70 plus year tenure, and no, we adapt, we learn, we can soak up game. You know what I'm saying? We grow out of the planet. We're not put on the planet. We grow out of it. All the information, the tremendous amount of data stored in this battery, we have access to it. We have access to the tremendous amount of energy stored in the sun, the tremendous amount of energy stored in what it's popular to perceive as empty space. There's so much information around us that we can pick up on if we tune in. We need to tap into it. We grow through a process in which we are fed immense dosages of information and intelligence through the placenta, through breast milk, and the immunoglobins in the colostrum fluid in the breast milk that we're fed during our infancy, and even growing up outside of being partition, being born. There are various signals from different electrical sources throughout our lives that produce equally significant hormonal reactions within our bodies. So things that you eat, your diet, you know what I mean, your conscious choices that you make on a daily basis, the ground that you walk on, all these things are giving, you know what I mean, they're giving you feedback on how to adapt to the environment, and it's affecting your hormones. Our bodies don't shut off. We continue to develop as life forms during our tenure as life forms. We must recognize that we aren't 5'3" or 5'9" or 6'4". We aren't 120 pounds or 160 pounds or 124 pounds or 337 pounds. We're titans in this universe. We're titans. We're bound by the strongest force to our bodies, but to an exceedingly powerful phenomenon called the life cycle. There's a very small window to be a life form on this planet, but we've reached the valence shell of life and we're here living. That takes in itself a tremendous amount of energy if you consider it. The amount of energy that you possess compared to just a random non living thing of equal mass. To be alive is a lot of energy. We aren't like the gods that we fantasize about. We're not like Thor and Zeus because those things only exist in art and thought. We actually exist in the mind of God, capital G. You know what I mean? Whatever appellation you want to attribute or assign to that entity, we exist in the mind of that entity as truly physical, fully realized, solid state avatars of massive temporal spatial omni-utility, radioactive, gravitational, thermodynamic, electromagnetic, biochemical, kinetic, emotional, sexual, and psychic phylogenetic immensity. We're much larger than the ways which we've been conditioned to categorize ourselves. The scenarios are much larger than how we've been trained to categorize them. We are the very superhuman, superhero principle in practice. We are the very protagonists that this infinite universe has developed through process of self-discovery, and we ought to have faith in the mechanics of the world. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned in. Until next time, peace. I'm out.